I would like, if I may, to give you a strange suggestion.
It's astounding. Time is fleeting. Madness takes its toll. But listen closely.
Not for very much longer.
I've got to keep control.
Hey everybody, it is Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa, and today we're doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show Reboot Lips. I am super excited about this show. John is super excited about this show. We are gonna blow your minds with how easy these lips are. Today, John is gonna be running the controls. You'll hear him on the mic. He's gonna be reading your questions, your comments, all of that, and making sure that our cameras track us around the studio. On top of that, we're going to have picture-in-picture in the description and bubbles, because you should, on a party day like today. If you were hoping for serious art that was really stuck in the mud, all vanilla, this isn't going to be your show. In the description down below are the materials are really simple. I'm doing this on an 11 by 14 black gesso canvas. But here's a little art tip. This is perfect for any size canvas. So once you practice this on a small canvas, if you want to make a big 3860 piece for your home, for 4860, you can totally do that. So this can size up, size down. I'm going to show you the principles. This is so much easier than you think. Say hi to everybody, John.
Hi, guys.
We're live, like the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
This is so exciting. This is a fun show to put together today.
Who's a big fan and kind of excited for tonight?
Oh my gosh, we have so many people here who are just coming out of their skin about this. We are just ready to go today.
We got music, we got art, we got smoke machines and bubble machines, and yes, these are important to learning.
Absolutely.
And I'm so sad if you don't know that. The other thing I'd like to say about today's materials is if you don't have the exact color red that we have, don't stress about it. For this process, it's just important that you have a nice bright red that you like, a good black. I like the black gesso for this project, and also a good white that you like. I like titanium white. I have started to put some wishes on my canvas for our community, and I am going to show you how to draw these in, even though I have traceables that you can go use, and it is okay to trace. That's perfectly allowed. Always feel like you can trace. But first, let's do our wishes. We have a wish for love and support to all who are unique and special in the world, and that they have hope and kindness during their transitions. This is for the unicorns and butterflies out there. Pain-free days for Benny. Love to Brandy and Maddie. The world to embrace the differences, compassion and hope, an end to bullies. I personally am hoping for 100,000 subs by the end of the year. Wish. That's not as lofty-minded, but, you know, it's my truth. Right? To keep making fun videos. Marilyn wishes for a healthy heart for her husband, Ryan. And Jenna is wishing for her milk to come in. And I would like to say something, Jenna. I'm a mom. I had 3 kids. I think however a mother feeds her children, as long as she's feeding them, is perfectly okay. But as a mom who breastfed, I just want you to know with my last child, it was really hard for us, and I was pumping it, and I feel that, and I just wish for you and your baby to be through this, and I totally get it. So I'm just sending you lots of light and love.
And we're going to send a quick hug here to Allie and her mom who are out there. Have a safe surgery tomorrow. We know that you guys are watching with us today, and, you know, we just put hugs out there to you. Thank you, guys. And so we have a lot of new first-time people here with us today. Trish.
Really?
Oh, yeah, a lot
Hi,
of new
Trish.
people. And I have to go back up there. I saw a whole bunch of people scroll by.
Hi, all new people. We've had a lot of new subscribers recently, and a lot of new people keep coming in, and I know a lot of people are coming in because of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. This is, if you've never done this before, this is a lot like a paint night. I'm going to explain to you how I'm doing everything so that you can do it at home. I mean, it's really cool that I can paint, but I've been doing it a long time. So it's even cooler if you can paint, and that's my goal. So I'm really going to explain this to you. If you're wondering what this is a charcoal white pencil. You could also use a watercolor pencil in white, pastel pencil in white, or chalk pencil in white. Because what you just want is a soft pigment that will disappear into your canvas. So Tracy's high?
Oh, yes. I'm just sort of reading here the chat. There's so many people going to Jenma. It's her first time. Panda O says hello to
Hey,
you.
Panda. We have many pandas.
We have
here.
many pandas.
A lot of panda friends.
Yeah, and remember Gail's getting her dad's being tested today, so we sent some love to him too. I saw
Yeah,
that
love
come
for
in there.
Gail and her dad.
I know there's a lot of wishes coming in there, and this is a thing. We try to capture the wishes and the dreams of all of our community, and as light keepers, we put each other's dreams in our canvases.
And paint over them and hopefully just put some good energy into the universe. Lord knows right now with all this craziness and divisiveness going on, it's so good to, do things for each other and make the world a better place.
So they're ready to get on with this
I'm ready
paint.
to
They're
do
excited.
this. So we've pre-gessoed this canvas in black. And in this particular case, I didn't buy a black canvas this time. I actually used my Liquitex black gesso. And I really love this stuff. The good companies have these. And I think that the colored gessos are pretty great. I like the gesso over black paint only because it gives me a little more tooth to sketch in. But if you just have black paint, that's just fine. Really, mostly everything you're doing, just assume it's just fine. So the first thing I want to do is find the middle of my canvas and make a couple little marks so I kind of know where that is. And I'm going to come in a finger and make a little mark. And I'm going to come in a finger. This mark's a little lower. If you'll notice, it's about an inch lower. And make a little mark, about a finger's width, a thumb, a finger. I just want to have some space on the outside of my canvas. Come up to the top of your canvas and in the middle, about a 1/4 inch below your fingers, or you just want about 4 fingers, make a mark, and that's going to be the top arc of your lip. Now, lips are mentally challenging, but they're not actually challenging. So I'm sure you can do it. Not as challenging as leave the picture in picture.
I'll put it
whole
someplace.
time. I'll work around it. Oh, okay. No, just do the picture.
Oh, I'll get.
Because it's so helpful to everybody. And
I'll move it
they
around.
don't really need to see me. They just need to see the canvas and the references. So what I'm going to say is my first little mark I make is about 3-4 inches wide, and I'm going to make just a soft convex curve. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
I'm going to sketch this in my white. It's okay to make different little lines because we can come back with our black gesso and clean up any boo-boos we have.
Okay.
And I'll show you that. I'll make a boo-boo.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. I got really excited about my sippy and I made a boo-boo. This line that's coming down to meet the mouth corner is going to bow out just a little bit. Just a nice soft curve. And the same thing is going to happen here down to this part of the mouth. Mouths are actually not symmetrical. They have a lot of character in them. And being able to capture that character makes them super fun to paint. Now I'm going to take about 4 of my fingers, which if you're wondering how wide 4 of my fingers are, if you're like, that's crazy, I have giant hands. They are just under 3 inches. And I'm going to make a matching little curve right here to sort of parallel this curve. Then I'm going to curve in and then bow out to the corner of my mouth. This side, however, has got a lot of personality because the lip is being bit and it's creasing over here. So I'm going to bring a little curve up and another little crease up and then down. Kind of like a little bum there. Sort of a fun thing. Now from the bottom of my canvas and a little bit off center because the lip is being bit over here, I'm going to do another one of those 3-inch marks. And I'm going to bring my lip out and then up and then come down and curve back.
Gotcha.
It's so different than the lips that we're thinking about where we go like this, isn't it? Since I'm fixing that boo-boo, I can fix the other boo-boo. So it's just something to think about when you're thinking about lips. They have so much personality. I want at least a 1/4 inch between the top lip and where the lip is bit. So I'm going to make a little mountain shape here, a little soft mountain. This is going to come down and join the crease there. Then I'm going to curve down and then gently swoop back up, leaving about a 1/2 inch where this joins the lip over here. Now the teeth, I get this. teeth are challenging.
Now, before we go on real quick, could you do me a quick favor?
Yeah.
Go back over there and put Pam and Jan in here. They're doing this little journey together here today, and we want to make sure they have a chance to capture this. So just perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Pam and Jam. Hi, Pam and Jam. That's
Pam
what
and Jan, yeah.
So I'm stepping over here.
No,
I
you're
guess,
good. You're
to
good.
get
I'm going to move that
picture.
DVE over for us. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Dad's going to move it. We love doing the picture-in-picture because it really, really helps you. If you go to theartsherpa.com, there's a bunch of resources, a bunch of information about techniques, extra information about what you're doing here. We try to make sure there's traceables for most of the videos, so you don't ever feel confined by the need to draw. I hate that when people are
You can
like, you
stand
got
back
to
over-
draw.
You can stand back in your normal position.
Oh, okay. That's so helpful. The need to draw. I feel so much more comfortable. You should always just be yourself, be comfortable.
Look, we can do all sorts of things. Move it. Look at this. We can even do it on the other camera.
So, and if you feel like an area of your lip needs to be filled out more, you can do that. And again, if you've made a mistake, here's the good news. I'm going to take just a nice number 4 bright. A bright is a square brush. It's flats have longer bristles. Brights have shorter, more controllable bristles. I'm going to take my bright here and just paint out this little chalk line, and you can see it just goes away. And that's why I like to use the white charcoal, because it just disappears into my paint.
Oh, that's cool.
The important lesson that you're seeing here is no matter what we're doing, this works with acrylic painting all the time. It's what makes it one of my favorite mediums. Is that if you make a mistake, you can always fix it. So don't be stressed out about that.
Oh,
Now the teeth.
the teeth.
I'm going to line up my center and make a little line coming down. And you're going to be surprised at how big these teeth are. If I'm to measure this tooth is like an inch and almost a half, like just under a half. It seems really big, but actually when you paint it in relationship to the mouth, it doesn't. And that's what sometimes making objects bigger than they are in life can mess with us, because then we're like, is this too big? Is this too small? I'm going to come over again about the same distance and make a line that joins from the top to the lip.
Uh-huh.
And then I feel like I went too high here, and I'm going to need to scoop this down so that I can tuck my little tooth right here.
Oh, okay. So you just made a little adjustment there as
I
you
make
went.
a little adjustment there. I
Nope.
got a little excited in my curve.
Yeah, and just like above in the above, that chalk will just
Will
get
just go away.
cool. All
This
right.
is what's so great about acrylic paint for beginner artists. And then as this dry, it's going to go perfectly into the background.
Now, could you use a wet brush to wipe away that chalk?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You can use a wet brush to get rid of the chalk. So I'm going to tuck out a little tooth over here, kind of a little square peeking out, and another little square peeking out. That's all I've got on the teeth. And I'm going to start painting this in. Simply, simple.
It's so easy.
So easy. I'm going to start with a number 8 bright.
Are you?
This is a firm filament. There's a lot of brushes I like, but what they all have in common is that I tend not to buy brushes that are crazy expensive, and I like a very firm filament that has a nice edge. I like brights over flats, and I want them to be able to hold up if I leave them in my water cup too long.
Now,
So no matter where you are in the world, those are the things that you're asking for of your brushes. Yeah, babe?
okay, so I was going to say, we got
we
over
have music?
250 people, 260 people, and they're here demanding that you're going to dance some. I know Christy,
we're gonna
she's
time
like,
work.
she's ready for it. Now, we don't quite have 300 people in the room, and we don't quite have our 300 likes, so we're going to save the time warp for a little later.
When we get to 300 likes, which is what we call We Are Sherpa, I always have to dance.
We always dance.
It's good to dance and move.
But
This
you
is
know what?
going to be a faster, easier lesson than you might think.
While
though.
you're doing that,
Ooh,
I figured
into the paint, the brush went.
See, you've met mine.
I thought we might put a little music on.
Hand in hand. He's just a little brought down because when you knocked, he thought you were the candy man. Don't get strung up by the way I look. Don't judge a book.
You pushed your
by
button.
its cover.
I think you pushed your button.
I'm not much of a man by the
Yeah.
I pushed my off button dancing. The people who've been asking me to shut up were so happy for about a second. Oh, you poor people. All right, so I'm dipping my brush in the water, and I'm dragging this off the edge. And what I'm going for is to prime my brush, which is to get it a little bit wet, but not where it's soaking. It should just feel damp, but not like it's going to leave drops or drips. And I'm going to take a little of my black paint over to my crimson. So I've got black gesso. I've got, which crimson did I grab? I grabbed the Naphthol crimson and titanium white. And just in case it's really hot in my studio, which it always is, acrylic glazing liquid gloss, which can slow down the drying time of my paint if I start to have some trouble and allow me to glaze, which means to make a thin, transparent coat. And so you can see I'm pulling out a small smidge of black, just there at the tip, and I bring it over to my red and I mix it in. And what I want to do is make my red almost a brick red, but I wouldn't want it to be this dark. See how that's too dark?
Uh-huh.
I want it just a little more red than that. So once I have that color, and I'll grab this just because where I am painting, it's very hot and dry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to paint in my lips all with this deep brick color.
Ooh.
Painting my wishes into the universe. Because that's where I believe they go.
That's
But
where
that's
they
just
go.
me. You don't have to believe that. It's not a requirement. I do the things that make me happy. And I let people do the things that make them happy. And I always do this sort of self-check, which is it hurting me?
Yeah.
If it's not hurting me or hurting others, then I kind of tend to let people be.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we could all work on as a species, is just sort of ask ourselves this question: is this actually affecting me?
Right.
Because if it's not, and it's not hurting others, then maybe it's okay.
Right.
Just saying.
Making it work.
All right, so
So what do you use as your paper there underneath the palette?
this is acrylic palette paper.
Oh, so it's actually for this.
You could use a polystyrene plate. I've seen people wrap things in aluminum foil, and I've seen them do this on glass.
Cool.
See, I'm just pulling this black out, and I pull it with the tip of my bristles. It's just barely on there, and I mix it in. And by being able to do this in small doses, it allows me to control my mixture.
Oh, cool.
If I were to, say, overdo it, like come over here and be like, oh, no, that's too dark,
Yeah.
sometimes the best thing to do is to wipe it off and
Oh, yeah.
start again.
You just
Because it
call
can
it
get
a
away
mulligan
from
and
you.
do it over.
That's just a good money-saving tip. The little bit of paint you lose in that crazy mix, is better than losing all the paint on your palette in a trying to correct.
Or messing up your canvas or painting.
Yeah.
Although it's, you can just
It's
paint
pretty hard
layers.
to mess it up, though, because
You just have layers.
you have layers. You can paint over anything in acrylic once it's dry.
Now, you just added some water to that?
I added a little bit of water. What I did is I went just a soft dip, so it's not a huge amount on there, and I brought it over here just to pull this out to improve the fluidity.
Oh, okay.
Fluidity means how soft it is and how well it comes off my brush. It's only really up to the midpoint on my brush, and then I'm putting that in. What that does is that means that when my brush puts paint on the canvas, it flows off very nicely. When I come along the edge of the lip, I use the edge of this brush. You could use a 1/2-inch angle brush just as easily for this project, though. You'll find sometimes artists have different brushes that appeal to them, and that is, about their personalities and about their styles, and you can interchange. You can make yourself comfortable first. Make yourself comfortable.
Now, this is a really, you designed this to be a really, really easy painting.
This is just such an easy, I'm going to be successful painting. I'm doing a little dip here. I'm taking off the extra water. I'm pulling out a little of my black and coming back over to my red to continue just mixing that brick color. Yeah, this was made to be uber easy for anybody painting along.
And the great thing, I love this because this is such an easy painting to do and will make such a great gift.
I think so.
Because, I totally want one of this for over my desk. And
You have so many of them for over your
know.
desk.
But luckily, I have a lot of wall space.
Actually, I was so excited about doing this. I think we're going to do a bunch of drilled down lips.
Yeah.
Because I think this was super fun to do, and I think people can really achieve this.
Yeah.
Now, here's a little thing. Sometimes I'll use the edge of my bristles to also create a line. You can see how I'm dragging.
Oh, yeah. Let me zoom in on that there.
And I'll load up some more. Where I'm dragging and creating a line just by the drag. See how I press it in?
Oh, yeah.
And the edge of the bristles helps me create a very crisp line. And then I go flat to do big areas.
Gotcha.
Just super easy stuff. Now, wherever you're doing, wherever you're painting, I want everyone to just take a deep breath and let it go. Because, boy, it's been a week, hasn't it?
It has.
I'm not even going to say what's been stressing us all out because I don't want us to even touchstone into it, but we know.
We know.
And I'll tell you what I'm doing tonight. I'm going to my daughter's play, and then I'm watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I'm going to celebrate the strange and unusual.
Yes. We're going to do some camping later.
Yes. Just try to keep my center and my happy in the storm. Did you bubble me?
You got some bubbles.
I don't know how bubbles affect your paint, but I know how they affect your soul, and it's really good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you just need this dark red kind of covering your lips. This is your base. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be covering. This is a good time to rinse your brush out a little bit. And if you want, get just your black paint, and you can come around and clean up your edge wherever you need to. If it got away from you. I'm going to come here and just sort of, because this is sort of a pop art piece. Pop art has a tendency to be very clean and graphic.
Mm-hmm.
And really speak to what is culturally interesting during its time. So you really want to grab people, and it isn't particularly painterly or whimsical.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is just an easy way you can come back and be like, I clean my lines up. So if you got real sketchy, I'm just showing this just in case you got very sketchy in putting in your lips.
Mm-hmm.
How you would go back and give this almost a silk screened.
Just tighten up those lines.
Yeah. Get the boo-boos around my edge. Now, you guys ask me a lot if I paint the edges of my canvas. In this particular case, I did paint the edges of my canvas.
Just so we can make it nice and...
No, because then I don't have to frame it. I feel like it looks cohesive. Even if I put it in a frame, it'll be nice around the edges. But I don't always do that.
And yeah, this would just hang just like it is anywhere.
Yep, hang just like it is, anywhere. Now I'm going to pull out my small number 4 bright.
Cool.
Right, so kind of get you a sense of the size of this. And again, it's a firm filament. If you have a really soft brush, you might work a little harder on your painting. Don't feel like it's you. Just know it's the brush being soft. Persevere through. You can still do it. Don't let it stop you. Teeth.
Teeth.
How to not have chiclets. Oh, it's the number one question I get. My teeth, everyone always feels like their teeth looks like chiclets.
Mm-hmm.
And that is true. It is hard to get a non-chiclet tooth going. So the first thing I like to do is mix a gray.
Okay.
And you're like, nobody's tooth, if their teeth were actually this gray, they would be at the dentist freaking out. But actually, you want a pretty gray tooth to start with. And I'm going to paint in this gray carefully along my bottom edge. Right? And again, like I showed you earlier, even if it gets away from you guys,
Like
what
the
can you do?
cameras sometimes
You can
do.
let it dry and paint it out. You don't have to be stressed about it. I'm going to come here and paint in this tooth.
It's all about the layers.
It is. On these teeth, it's about the layers and not making even big areas of color because teeth are bumpy.
Now, can I say, I'm noticing that you're even on the edge of that, letting some of the black show through.
Yes, you can. I love how John always because sometimes I'll mention that, but later, and John always catches it as it's happening. I am allowing a little bit of the black to peek through here. And I'm going to even probably come back and put some back in.
Because that just adds an additional layer there, doesn't it?
It creates shape. So when I'm trying to say that this tooth is round and not a flat chiclet, because chiclets are flat and chiclets are smooth and they're very even, one of the things I'm going to have to say is that this is rounded.
And that leaving that black in there,
Yeah.
while you wouldn't necessarily think it, really is important to help creating that.
It's super important to help creating that.
You're like, why would you have black teeth? Well, if you don't have the black, it can't make the white look white.
Exactly. And this gray helps the white we're going to put in look like their white teeth. It's real interesting. And actually, you probably couldn't tell it from the thumbnail, but there's a little pink in our white.
Oh, yeah.
Because the lips are reflecting a titch on the teeth. So I'm just putting in this base of tooth right here. Just letting that be here. Base of tooth right here.
Oh.
And the canvas being black even helps us in this sense because it shows through our paint, and we want that. I'm going to rinse out my brush.
So a lot of people from Europe are going, what's a chiclet? It's a square breath mint candy type of like gum, and they look like little small square white cubes.
I am coming in with my black paint and cleaning all this up inside the mouth. Just a little bit. With this brush. I think this is a nice thing to do. On top of that, we need to create some shading in our lips. So we're going to be doing that as well. I'm just taking this, I'm using the edge of my brush to get nice straight lines. And then brushing on the flat to fill in the space. Oh, my canvas moved.
That's all right.
It's okay. And deep breath, because I'm just painting. And you know what I'm not doing right now? Keeping up on the news. I'm painting. So I'm going to come down here and sort of paint this in and get rid of these white lines and these things that wouldn't make me happy. Make any little corrections. Now I'm going to take my black paint out and I'm going to mix it into my red, but I'm going to make it quite dark. Not black. You can see me mixing that around, but definitely darker than the first red I put down. And I'm going to come with my 4-inch along the edge of this lip, and I'm going to curve that up a little bit. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And just about 1/4 of an inch little shadow. Brushing that up, flicking that up a little. Just flick, flick, flick. I'm going to come right here. Flick, 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 flick. I like the flicking.
Yes. Oh, pretty cool. There you
You
go.
know, this is also one that even if you're painting like Liquitex Basics or Artist Loft, it should go with you okay. The only thing I'll say is if you're doing Artist Loft or Basics, when you varnish, you're going to have to spray varnish
Oh, yeah.
if you're not using the gesso because the black can lift on that paint line. Something people don't know.
So spray varnishing is a good idea. Just when you're...
Yeah. You want to varnish in some way, and my varnish video is for a brush-on varnish, but if you're on Artist Loft, you've really, or Liquitex Basics, you've really got to spray varnish.
That just prevents the lifting.
So I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to add a little shadow right there, leaving some of the red here, and just putting in just a little bit of this. I'm curving these brush strokes into the lip, curving them in, leaving the brick color here. I'm going to come right under here. And again, I'm leaving a little of my red because I'm trying to imply the shape of the lip. I mean, this is all flat, so we're just having a little hysterical moment while we pretend our lips are not. I'm going to come right here where the two lips meet. And I'm going to show the shadow of a kind of a crease. I don't know if you've noticed this, but our really plump lips, sometimes they have a lot of creases.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you look at Angelina Jolie's lips, there's a lot going on there. Like a lot. Very distinctive mouth. Nothing bad. No shade.
No.
Just saying, it's involved. And then I'm going to make sure that I have a little bit of the shadow kind of along this crease here. So isn't that nice?
It is nice.
It is bubble time. I honestly have to recommend getting a bubble blower for your painting time. Does it have technical merit? No. Could this stuff be messing up my canvas? Sure. Do I care? Not really. Not at all. Because it's bubble time. Okay, I just love it. Let it go. Let it go. Sorry. All the party. All the time. Oof. I'll let you know what the impact on my canvas is later. Rinsing out my brush. I'm going to get a slightly smaller brush. I like to work number 2s. You could do also a number 2 short handle shader. And you just see this is a very small brush with a very fine line. It gives me a little bit of control over my detail.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to come and I'm going to load just the tip. You can see just barely, just the tip. And there's a lot of hairs hanging out, so we're going to have to see if this brush works for me the way I need it to. If it gives me grief, I may go another way. And I'm going to come just between these teeth, very lightly and make a fine line. And I'm going to come between these two teeth and make a fine line. And again here, just a little bit. And then I'm going to get some red and some gray. But I don't want it to be just black. And I'm going to just make sure that I have this ever so shadowy space right here. But it's such a fine, tiny line. And I'm going to come between these two teeth right here. Maybe a little bit out here.
Kim thinks we need to do some performance art using a bubble machine
Does she?
aimed at the canvas.
I'm taking this color, I haven't rinsed my brush, and I'm coming over and I'm making a slightly lighter color, and it's got like a little red in the gray than I did before, and I'm going to make a little line coming down here and a very soft dry brush line across this tooth. I'm going to come here and again, just a soft dry brush line. And when I mean dry brushes, I don't have a lot of moisture on my brush, so the canvas underneath, all the texture of it shows through. Smoke machine. And I'm leaving a little space, and I'm coming and adding this shadow. And just right here, as if this tooth were round, I'm putting one right here. And the smallest one right here at the corner. I'm going to come here and add this one. And you can kind of see that the teeth are starting to come in. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So I just turned up the music just a little bit so you could hear it.
I appreciate that. I'm going to grab a slightly bigger, bright, these are number 6s from the Simply Simmons line. Love my smoke machine. Love my weird hair and my lips. Just a good day to be me. And I'm going to load this up and start creating some of the highlights in the lips, which means I can just take the red, just the pure red, and I'm going to come here. And this, I find it's nice to absolutely, this is a very dry brush, and I'm using the shape of my brush stroke. I feel like a weather person. And I'm going to just softly create this bright red highlight. And you can see how it's just skipping over the canvas, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just curving this stroke. I'm letting my canvas do the work. This is a little bit like Bob Ross and his palette knife, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah, because you're just kind of using this to lightly brush over that.
Right, and I'm letting a lot of what's underneath show through. Being very relaxed about that. And I'm going to come here, and then I'm curving with a curve towards the left, but as I move over here, my curve's going to shift to the right. So it'll start to straighten out, and then look, I curve to the right, and that creates the implied shape of the lip. I don't want to get rid of my shadow, but it's okay if some of my highlight gets into it, and I can even switch my brush. So awesome! This is maybe my happiest paint ever. I'm so happy in my paint right now. I don't even know what's going on. I love it. I'm listening to Frankenfurter. I've got paint going on, and there's bubbles coming at me. There's nothing better that could be happening in my world. I'm going to maybe take a line straight down the lip a little bit, but it's very light. And then I'm going to continue with this bright red paint. I'll come under my little shadow.
Well, I have to say, everybody here is just having a blast. We've got over 267 people, 257 likes. Everyone's having a blast. 270 people.
If we get to 300, we got to do the time warp, all of us.
We're going to be doing some time warping here at the end, no matter what.
Get to 300 likes, what will we be doing? For sure, the time warp. Smoke.
You can bet.
Like for smoke and bubbles.
For smoke and bubbles.
So I keep pulling this out. Oh, something I want to show you. I have a skin here. And let's see. I'm actually going to show it with my fingers. Can you see this, John?
Yeah.
So what happens is sometimes your paint dries while you're painting if your studio is very dry and it skins.
Ooh, yeah.
This isn't usable. You can't thin that out with water. Now I look like I murdered somebody. But I got to share with you something you might not know. Feature. Build a creature. Okay, I'm losing myself here. All right. So I'm going to add a little of this. I've got it loaded on this bead. You can see it's like a bead. If you guys do palette knife with me, you kind of recognize that. And I'm going to very lightly, my pressure's so light, like butterfly wings, and that's how I get this great dry brush. Isn't that fun?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just coming along and I'm letting the brush stroke be so rough, aren't I?
Oh, yeah.
And that creates those textures and lines that you're looking for in lips. I'm going to add a little highlight right here at the bottom curve, also dry brushed. It's kind of a triangular shape highlight, isn't it? Look at that. I'm just amused by a painting. I love acrylic paint because it's so versatile and it does all these things for you and you can just create anything in it. And it's a lot of fun. And yes, you could use any red you've got in your studio for this. Like if you were using cadmium, your lips would just be more of a fire orange. And if you were using alizarin crimson, they'd just be more bloody looking. You know, so don't feel like you're limited by what's in your art box. And don't ever let anyone material shame you or art shame you. There's been a lot of letters coming in about people who've been told by other artists that what they're doing is or is not something. No, it's just art. People don't get to weigh in, tell you who to be creatively. I am just still curving, and you can see my curve is curving towards the right. And that's helping enforce this lip shape. That's all I've got to do to put my lipstick on.
Cool.
Isn't that awesome? And I'm going to get back into my 2-inch. I'm going to rinse it out. I may have to go to a second water. You can see my waters are very dirty, so I'm going to switch to a cleaner water. And I'm going to just take the tip of my brush and just right into the red, but you can barely even see it. Because I don't, and see even a little bit really, really tints my white. And I only want it just slightly tinted. And I've loaded it up. It's not a pure white, but it's definitely brighter than what I've had. And I'm going to come back and create just a little highlight on my teeth here. Just on the inside corner, not leaving some of that gray I left before. Very light highlight right here. Pulling that down so it has kind of some shape and structure. I want to leave a little bit of gray under my lip because they would always have a shadow. If you really, really hate doing teeth, you can just skip the teeth part of the process. This is your painting. Don't ever make yourself miserable for no reason. I'm going to, I love my bubbles and my smoke, add a little highlight to these teeth as they're peeking out.
You liking that?
We're very serious people who do a very serious service on YouTube.
We show you
We
how
make
to...
3-minute videos and hardly talk.
We're teaching people how to make some...
Wouldn't you love this at like a sip and paint? Wouldn't this be the
serious
funnest
lips.
sip and paint to come to if they were hitting you with bubbles? Don't you wish you were in my studio right now?
Don't you wish you could step up to the slab? We have 294 likes right now and 282 people all hanging out here to see what's going to happen next. So we should go ahead and, like, we're supposed to do all these things like shout outs and like going.
Oh, yeah, you should subscribe and share this with your friends.
Because we're going to forget to do this later. We're just going to say.
Also, be sure and tell us what you think of this video and tell us what else you'd like to paint. We try to stay as viewer directed as we can.
And
Are we Sherpa?
Well, no, yeah, we do. We actually do have over Sherpa. We're going to say like, comment, subscribe, share. Check out theartsherpa.com.
Is it time to time warp?
It is. I'm going to jump over here, and I'm going to... and I'm going to turn this up.
I really encourage you to time warp at home. Or chair warp.
Or chair
or bed
warp.
warp with your fingers.
Oh.
Whatever you got.
It
with your
is.
nose. Whatever you're moving today.
It's that. It's that. It is that.
Come on.
We're going to have to...
So sit down. Time is fleeting. Madness takes its toll. But listen closely.
Not for very much longer.
I've got to keep control.
the smoke button. He's going to smoke us out.
Those moments when the blackness would hit me and the void would be calling. Let's do the time warp again.
I have no hop to the left room. You do.
It's just a jump to the left.
And then a step to the right.
With your hands on your hips.
You bring it easy and tight. Raise the pelvic thrust. The rhythm drives you insane. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. It's so thrilling.
So, Sherpa.
So you can't see me. No, not
Oh, my hater's mad right now.
with
Can you feel the judgy?
well, so
I know who you are.
We're here to party with all our friends who joined us today. We love you guys.
Lots of soap on my painting.
Thank you for having such a notable time with us today. We love you guys. Thank you.
Always make your art fun. Always make your creative process fun. Never be afraid to be goofy. Never be afraid
Never.
to be silly. Who cares what people think? Except you.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think. So please, please be creative to your fullest. Take huge risks. Embrace others. Love yourself. It's all worth it.
Yeah.
That's my soapbox.
That's the soapbox. Let's
right.
finish up these lips.
I'll show you how to paint lips. So the next part I'm going to do is a little pink right here at the highlight.
We're going to find out unintentionally what glycerin does, or
Yeah.
glycol.
Well,
That's a-
whatever's in that thing.
Well, I guess glycerin is in the bubbles and glycol is in the smoke. So
It's in small amounts. I don't know. I think we'll survive. I wouldn't sell a piece. So I've got this pink, and how I did that is I pulled out with a little of my red here, and I'm making a pretty soft pink, but it's not a white.
yeah.
And I'm going to come to just the top of the lip. And this is a very stiff brush, so it gives me kind of a scratchy stroke. And I'm going to just lightly pull out this fabulous, really cool highlight. And it's going to be strongest right here. Right here. And then it's going to come here. It's still going to be there. And there's going to be a little bit right here. Just soft. Very dry. See? Just a little bit. And that's it. And by the way, we're almost done.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
It's looking so good.
Science fiction. So now I've got this weird little cheap brush, but what I'm looking for is a small square that has a nice edge to it that's not quite as scratchy as the brush I've been using. This is almost a number 2. You could use a 2 shader. This was a 5 something, 6 something by Dollar and Rowley. It's had a rough time. But what you want is just a small brush that gives you some control. I'm dipping my brush in the water, taking off the extra, and I'm going to pull out my white. I'm going to load it about halfway up. I'm going to come here to my lips, past this arc about an inch, and I'm going to go dash, dot, a little bit of a dash, and a curve line. Here, I'll make a boo-boo just in case you make one, and I'll paint that out later.
Oh, wow.
Right? I'm going to come here at this corner. I'm going to make a dot. Another kind of little cluster of dots.
Sorry about that.
Maybe a little bit right here. See those little dots there?
Yeah.
And then this guy's going to have a friend of dots. 1, 2, 3. Make sure your brush stays just nicely loaded with the white. I'm going to come over a space and kind of make a little line. And then a dot, dot. And then maybe another little line. And then just this line right here. Science fiction. Sorry, I can't help it. Pulling that down into a little line. A little squiggle and a line. Yeah, I meant like I was going to show you how I did it. So I'm going to make a little kind of square mark here at the top. And then a thin line, a dash, and another thin line. And kind of seeing how these come together.
Oh, yeah.
And then this little thin line, very lightly line. And then I've got to have a dash, dash, dash.
Miss Angela Anderson has just joined us. I
Hey,
see
Angela.
here.
Angela said this is my favorite painting she's ever seen.
Oh, thank you, Angela. I really liked her birch trees that she just did.
I love everything Angela paints.
She just did that live. It was Tuesday, a couple days ago.
And I'm bringing this down here. Now I'm starting to curve these strokes in the same way that I did the red. So what you're going to want to do is just make sure that you're kind of paying attention to the lip directionality when you're putting in your reflections.
Yeah.
And I might add a little reflection here and a little one there. 'Cause what I'm trying to say is that there needs to be reflections. And then dash, dash. And another little coming up here. So I take it on the little flat and then I pull it down narrow and then I dash. So it's not really like it's so interesting. You're not really painting everything you think you're painting. You're just painting these reflections. And I'm going to make a nice kind of little cross hatch stroke right there. And then a dash and a line and a dash, dash, line. Look at that. Fun stuff. And then let's bring a line here. And it's okay to let some of these be see-through or not as strong. Bring another line. So you see there's a series of lines that I'm doing right here.
Yeah.
That's the crease reflections in the lips. And they're going to get lighter as I come out to the outer edge and finer. So just keep bringing them out, just finer and finer. And just pull some of this story down. And then a little dash across, dash across. And a little dash across, dash across. Just paying attention to all the little creases that the lips could make. And there's a couple right here.
Mm-hmm.
Just real light. I haven't even reloaded my brush, if you'll notice. And then I change the direction as I come here where I curve it up. Come right on this edge. And then I make a nice reflection right there. 2 here. And now I'm going to come and do this lip.
Now, I'm curious to know who else is going to be watching the reboot of this tonight.
I know. We're all watching this.
So I'm so excited just to see how that's going to go. You know, I'm really excited that they've got a whole new cast, a whole new group of people. So it's going to be a whole new interpretation. I'm real excited to see how that goes.
Little reflection there. He's excited. I'm excited. I'm just excited to have something to watch.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to do a dot there. Then I think I'll do a line, dot, line.
Everybody in chat is super excited. There's just an echo of me.
Oh, I just want them to do a good job. That's all I want.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
done a little squiggle here, and then I'm going to do a curve line up. Look at that, just curve line up. And then a soft dash right here where this dark, bright red meets the shadow. And then another little kind of hook here and a curve line up.
So they're asking, when do you
Dash.
find the show to watch? It's tonight on Fox. I'm not exactly
It's
sure.
live. If you go to the website, they'll tell you what it is on your time zone.
Yeah, it's like 8 or 9 tonight.
I think for us it might be 6 or 7. And
Okay,
just-
maybe earlier. Yeah. So,
So I'm going to make a little dash here. We're almost through, guys.
And everyone's like, what reboot? So if you don't know, tonight on Fox, they're rebooting the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and you can catch it live. So
You can.
This.
That's what we got excited about.
Yeah, we're not like officially
Associated with them in
them.
any way. We're just painting along.
We're just painting along, super fans, doing our own Rocky Horror thing.
Our own thing. Now, this is dry, so if I was unhappy with this reflection, I would just take red paint and paint that right out.
Oh, nice. So you could just...
So, yeah, if any of these reflections make you unhappy, just let the paint dry, and then you can paint it right out.
Nice.
So I've rinsed my brush out, and I've dried it off with a towel, and I'm coming back over to my paint to reload. It's on a dry brush halfway up. And I'm going to do this part right here. So I'm going to create a little reflection there, and then this sort of little line coming down. And then these soft hatching dashes for reflection, but one of them wanders down as well. And then...
So Monica wants to know if different blacks dry with a different sheen.
Yes. And we have a big art quest. If you're not aware, once a week, usually on Thursdays, but today we're doing lips, I do this thing called the Big Art Quest. I don't call it a class because I think classes are sometimes really boring. So it's a quest, and you take the ones that are relative to you, and you don't worry about the ones that are not, and it's a year-long one that we're doing. One of them is all the blacks compared to each other, and we talk about how they're different.
Yep. And if you go out to theartsherpa.com, we actually have all those quests up in a group, and we're going to be providing a whole bunch of tools to help make that quest a lot more fun in the near future.
You're going to find you have some feelings about pears.
Yeah, we're going to...
You don't know now, but eventually you will have feelings about pears. I'm going to start changing the direction of these strokes because the lip got pulled. It means that the reflections will change direction.
Ah.
So I'm pulling this over to the right and then making a soft friend and maybe a dot and a dash. Another line. Softer, just barely brushing as I start to talk about these little lines that have the lip pulled. And then I'm going to taper this down. It's going to taper down narrow. But they're not one anything.
Mm-hmm.
This one's going to kind of wander down. And we're going to bring that way. Then again, dashing these this way. One highlight here and here. And I'm just looking for how can I talk about the crease on the lip in such a way that it really, really shows. And a little dash.
Now, for everybody, we're going to be coming back to
I
here.
first saw this when I was 14.
We're going to be taking about a half-hour break here. And
Oh,
then
we
we're
are?
gonna, yeah, we're going to be coming back for the live after show here.
Do I get a lot more bubbles on the
We'll
live
have
after
a
show?
lot more live after show. We'll do a lot more dancing, a lot more.
Goofing. And you can just Q&A me anything you're curious about, like why we did it, Rocky Horror Show pictures.
We'll
Make
do all
us
that.
run the bubbles all you want.
Yeah, we'll do all that here. And
We'll let you know. It looks like it did discolor my canvas a little bit, so if I was doing bubbles on a party, I might just go back and regesso that. Just saying, if you're having a party and you're using bubbles, that's my art tip. Important stuff you might need to know. So I'm going to do a small dash, a slightly longer dash. The brush pressure is super light so that the paint is very dry. And then this, and guess what it's time for?
what's that?
Signing.
Signing?
I have a small detail brush. This is a number 20/0. These are sometimes used in miniature painting.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing on signatures. Big dramatic topic in art right now, and I just love when people like to make non-dramatic things dramatic. Here's what it is. If it's appropriate for you to sign and you like signing your work, definitely do it. If you're an artist that doesn't sign your work, you already know who you are, and don't worry about it. Don't let people tell you what to do.
There you go. So you're going to sign
All
that.
right,
We're gonna
so I'm going to dip my signing brush in some water, and I'm not going to drag that water off because I want to thin my heavy-bodied paint out a bit so it's more fluid. Or I could have put out fluid paint, which I have. But I'm going to use what I have here. And I'm going to trim this weird extra hair off later. Some of these cheaper brushes come with weird hairs that you have to trim off. And I'm going to sign very, very lightly my name here right at the corner. And mostly because we're all doing the same painting, and that way we know which ones are mine later. Really is what it is. And so you've done it. How easy are realistic lips? It's like crazy, right? It's super crazy.
How easy was that?
So easy.
So thank you guys
Do
for
them big,
joining
do them
us.
small, put them on miniature canvases, put them on giant canvases, lip up the world.
Yes.
And I hope you'll keep painting. If this was your first time here, I hope you'll come back and do something else creative. We have hundreds, literally, of art tutorials like this done in the painting party style, from beginning 1 hoot all the way up to almost ready to just be on your own 3 hoot. Like almost 30 pieces for just Halloween alone.
Yeah.
Use the playlist because I have like 300 videos. So that way I probably have painted it if you're interested in it. And if you don't see it, tell me in the comments below what you want to paint. I'll probably paint it for you. You guys, be beautiful, be yourselves, be transformative, support each other in your differences. And I'm going to see you at the easel really soon or in 30 minutes for the after show.
Yes. Love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.